Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video with me, Shruti Vashist. You're watching Living Our Ascension. So today's video is going to be just a little bit different because I'm going to share with you some resources, especially books that I have found useful on the path of coming into your self-mastery. And somebody asked me this question recently, but they asked me basically, if I would share with them who my spiritual teacher is. And I've made videos on this in the past, maybe not addressing it directly, but speaking about teachers and guides and stuff, and in different ways. So I wanted to specifically today, I thought it would be a good idea, to make a video on the books that I used along my journey that were helpful for me to come into my self-mastery, and books that I find that are aligned with truth and that might help you as well. So yeah, if you would like to listen to what those books are, and I have some of them here, then please stay tuned. You can subscribe to this channel and just keep watching. So probably the very first book that I would advise, before we get into the books though, what I want to do is I want to just very quickly say that I'm not somebody who believes in following a teacher. For example, for myself also, I consider myself a guide, which is, to me, the energy of that is more just like if you're going hiking or something in the mountains and you haven't been before, or you're not familiar with that territory, then a guide will just show you, they'll point you in the direction of where you can go, the various areas on the mountain or whatever, and they'll give you some skills as well, to make that happen. But they don't give you exact directions where to go. You have to figure that out on your own. You take the little wisdom that's there and then you apply it. So to me, spirituality in the new age is about that. It's about taking that little piece of wisdom and applying it to your life. When you feel something as being true, as a truth that comes to you, which you may find in these books, then you apply it to your life, and it becomes an experience for you, and then that really translates into soul wisdom coming into being, because wisdom is more than knowledge. Wisdom is different from knowledge. Knowledge is just maybe something we know, like I know that something is right, or I know that this is the universal principle, this is how things are made within creation, or this is how things are in the world. But when I apply it, I get experience. So that is what wisdom is. The wisdom is related to the soul, and truth, you can say, is related to the spirit. It's like an eternal thing that's there. So loosely you can put it like that. But I'm not somebody who really believes in, it was, I feel that it was a thing of the past, the past eras when we were coming into self-mastery. It was a different time, and maybe then we needed more teachers, and this energy of, having a guru and aligning with their philosophy, studying under them. I'm not saying that's not useful at all. I also, for things that I want to learn, I have learned, taken online courses or whatever. Just going to let the plane pass. I'm not saying that learning from somebody is not useful. I myself will be offering courses, for example, so obviously I'm not against any of that. But what I'm trying to say is that it's not about aligning yourself with one person's energy. The real enlightenment, when we activate it in our body, it's about just taking truth from whatever source it's coming. When something resonates as truth within our heart, and then applying it in our life. So you may get it from different sources. You might like one or two that you resonate more with, because there is a dearth of sources that align with real truth, to be honest. But I just want to focus on the fact that the key thing here is to apply it in your life, to see how it works for you, because that is what leads to the birth of soul wisdom, and only then true enlightenment starts to happen in the body in truth. We're not living in the age where these 2-3 people will be enlightened and they're the gurus and everybody else is a follower. It's a completely new age. The possibilities are much different from how it's been in the past now. It looks very different, and we also need to let go of some of these old beliefs that we held about how enlightenment was before. There's, the process is going to be the same in the body, how it's always been, the opening of the higher heart and what happens after that, and all of those things. But how it looks in the now is different. Anybody who really knows truth knows that there's two aspects. There's the divine masculine aspect, which is truths that are principles that are always there, that always apply throughout time. They're outside of time, eternal sort of principles. But there's also the feminine aspect, which has to do with the cycles that are occurring within time. And within these cycles, there's something that will be right for you now, and then there's a shedding process that happens. You let go of all of that worked beautifully, then you come into a new cycle, and something else. It'll look very different. Nothing will be exactly the same. Nothing repeats within creation. Nothing that spirit makes is ever 100% the same. It's all very unique in each second, each moment that you're breathing. So as an extension of that, every era has looks different, and the needs of that era are different. So I don't want to go too much on with this. I just wanted to basically give you all a gist of what I believe before I can share my the resources that I have, so that you know how to properly use them, at least how I consider it to be done. So the first book that I would like to recommend for all of you on the path of self-mastery, in this new age, the age of Aquarius, where many of us are coming into our ascension, it's this book, Soul Integration. It's by this author called Saldra Kelly, and it's not really, now today the books that I'm showing you, it's not just about these particular books, it's more like these authors. So you can go and search up these authors if you're interested in what you hear about them, and look at which book of theirs you want. So it's just these authors, the sources that I feel are aligned with truth, and the work that they're doing resonates with me. So this book as well, it's Soul Integration. It has like this whole I'll just read some of the chapters, the names of some of the chapters, so you get an idea. It has the journey of the soul, which includes the nature of the soul, the original cause story, the descent into darkness, remembering the higher realms, more on the original cause and the descent into darkness, the difference between spirit, soul, ego, soul levels and dimensions, the nature of time, higher self versus spirit guides, contacting guides, replacing guides that no longer serve you, healing and aligning your 6 lower bodies, what happens to the physical body when it dies, etc., etc. So there's a different, and then there's like much more. I only read like a very small portion. Soul fragmentation, soulmates and twin flames, healing and restoring the soul to wholeness. So there's a lot in this book. And it has Saldra Kelly, this author, his work, how it comes through. It's if you like spiritual principles, you want to know how creation is made, on what principles it's based, it's good for that. It's good to ignite your remembrance. And that's another thing I want to say. Whenever you read anything or you listen to anybody, even if they are really coming from truth and you can feel it, just allow that truth to open your heart. Just receive that truth. It may not make sense to you at first, you want to know everything about it, and it opens your eyes and your heart, but don't try and forcefully apply it to things. Just keep an open heart, and the highest way that you will integrate that power that you're feeling from another person or a source that you've read, like a book, and you're like, wow, this is so aligned with truth, these words are so powerful, I know that I am also this, and I want it to surface in my life. Then just hold on to that wisdom, let it soak in, seep in, in its own time it will show you. And how it does is through reflections in your external reality. You'll receive messages, there'll be synchronicity, repeating messages and stuff, and guidance on your journey as well. Something will just feel right to you for your particular path. It'll be something that is relatively insignificant to most people, like just what they should do in their career, or that day how they should speak to their child, or it'll be something small, but that is how we step into it. It's step by step, and it's small things, but that one thing is very rich. So that is how you work with truth and allow it to expand in your life for self-mastery, because the focus here is not just to absorb principles and read books like stories. It's self-mastery. It's really coming into your enlightenment, into your power. So that is how I would suggest to do it. Then the second book, or author rather, that I would recommend is Adamus Saint Germain. This is an aspect of Saint Germain, the Ascended Master, that is channeled by Jeffrey Hoppe. So you can Google Jeffrey Hoppe, or better yet, you can Google the Crimson Circle, which is the name of their company. I'm not sponsored by anybody in this video. These are just books that I like, sources, and I really just want to recommend because it can be useful. So if you feel you're looking for new sources and you haven't heard of these, then I'd like to just introduce you to them. So now what's different, both of these sources, these writers, they are aligned with truth, and what they share is through truth. But how this one is different a little bit is that this Jeffrey Hoppe, his words, like what's channeled through Adamus Saint Germain, this Ascended Master, it anchors you in the vibration of you being the master now. So you being in the now moment, so it also speaks about spiritual principles, but in a lighter way, not in such a logical definition type of way where they're breaking it down into categories. It's more like there's just different chapters on different things. Like another book that they have, it's divided into like relationships, and there's just like paragraphs about relationships in general. It might be your creativity or your career, so like that. But the way that when you're reading it, it'll address all of those things where you feel you are not a master yet, where you feel what do I need to do to have money in my life? What do I need to do to have fulfilling relationships in my life? And you're asking and asking, and the vibration of asking or just wondering, is not the vibration of mastery. A master knows that they are the ones who created. They know that I am the source. So when you know it, it'll be there in your life. So it anchors you in that vibration, in every word that you read. So it's interesting in that sense for humans becoming masters. So let's see if there's anything else I want to tell you about these. So again, not just this book, you can go for their other books also. This is just what I had on hand. Yeah, so I don't think I'll read out the chapters. It's not really going to be very helpful to show you what it's all about. But he speaks about consciousness, and check out their YouTube channel also. Then you can figure out if you want to purchase a book even, because they have a lot on their YouTube channel, the Crimson Circle. Then the third author that I could recommend to you, there's many others as well, but if you're just beginning into spirituality, you've heard about Ascension, or you want to know about you're getting into these books and these people who share that are not religious. For example, there's a lot of truth also in some religious books, in all religious books, but also they may have been tainted a little bit over time, because humans also have our own agenda. We're not all coming from complete levels of purity, and especially more so in how then those things are interpreted. So it's been used and reused, and they've lost their spirituality. They might be religious books, but they've lost that spiritual connection. Because what is spiritual? It means a connection to spirit, a connection to all that is, oneness. And sometimes they just say these words that sound a certain way, but how people take it and apply it is not actually spiritual. So if, let's say, you want to get into more of these grounded type of books, but they also speak about spiritual principles, and especially mastery in the new age, that's the video that I'm making today. These sources, they help you to come into your self-mastery in this new Aquarian age, more specifically, the masters that we're becoming now of the new earth. So this is the third book, or the third author. It's Diana Cooper. And the good thing about her books and her work, because she also has oracle cards, is that I wonder if you can hear that bird. So the good thing about her is that that's interesting that the bird is with this melody, because she speaks a lot about animals and their different purpose, you know, within creation, because all animals also anchor a certain energy. And she speaks about these different ancient civilizations that we had. You know, we have memories of different civilizations, the people who have come here for the ascension of the planet, you know, light workers, star seeds. We have done this work before on the planet because we feel it. That's why we feel it so strongly now. You know, we didn't need as much as, let's say, you know, the rest of the masses to remind us of the fact that things are wrong or we're not doing them in a balanced way. And so, you know, there is this soul craving, this life purpose, and we devote it to something higher. So if you feel that, that means that, you know, in past eras that the earth has seen, you may have served, you know, the light in one way or another. So some of these key civilizations were the era of Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, Petranium, Angala. So she has different chapters on these. For instance, ancient cultures like the Incas, Egyptians, Babylonians, Inuit, the Native Americans, and there's many more, you know, the Mayans. Then she has a section on the different portals on earth, you know, that have existed. I don't resonate so much with the portals part of it, because I feel that there's new portals opening all the time. You know, there might be portals that are there that humans have put a lot of energy in, and so they have a certain energy, you know, there's certain expectations that humans have. They go there and they feel spiritual, so it also creates that energy on top of it. But any places, I feel, you know, at least in my experience, people who are serving the new earth energy, they know that it's all sacred. So wherever they go, they take that sacred energy, they can open up portals. But still, it can be useful to read about this, you know, it'll ignite some remembrance in you. So she's speaking about the cosmic pyramid in Greece, the hollow earth portal, the Bermuda Triangle, the ocean near Fiji, and just many more, Mount Shasta. And the kingdoms, the bird kingdom, animal kingdom, kingdom of the ocean beings, the elemental kingdom, you know, fairies, and fairies, and I can't think right now. Anyway, the angelic kingdom, you know, the different angels and archangels, the Deva kingdom as well, you know, related to the trees and the higher aspects of all things within creation have a higher aspect, just like you have a higher self. Kind of not the same way, a little bit similar, but you know, because they also exist in group consciousness, these beings like trees and plants, rather than individual souls as individual souls, but what their higher purpose is, you know. So she speaks about all of that. So it's kind of, her work is also fun, you know. She has more books, so check out, like I keep saying, the different books. So yeah, I think these are the three. Let me see if I had any more. These are the three authors that I would like to recommend to you if you are simply just looking for work that has been written about truth and about self-mastery in this new age of Aquarius. If you've read any of this work, let me know in the comments below as well what you feel about it, and you have any questions, again, let me know. So these are just some books, some resources that I hope help you. And if you find this video in the month of April 2020, then I have a sale going on, a huge sale, 50% off on all of my personal services. So please check them out. You know, you can work with me personally, but it'll finish in the month of April. And I have all kinds of services, you know, Skype sessions and things that I channel for you, again, that help you to come into your own remembrance, you know. You remember your own self, and that is really how truth works. Any guide, any teacher that's helping you, that's what they should be doing. Rather than, you know, telling you what you are, they will bring in some codes that will bring in your own remembrance. So now, so all of these birds and beings are becoming really loud. I'm gonna go now and enjoy this energy, and I hope that you found this video helpful. Please know I'll be making one more, which is more aligned with the star seed energy, and books that you can read, you know, about volunteer souls as well. Thank you so much for watching.